Native News Today.
All right, everyone, welcome to Native News Today here. I hope everyone's having a great Saturday afternoon out there, and we're certainly glad that you're joining us here on this great program as we chronicle what's going on in Indian country out there on the east side of the state, and plenty going on here in Green Country this week. We were actually up on Tuesday of this week. We were in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's for the rededication ceremony of the outpatient VA clinic there in Tulsa for Ernest Childers, the great Muskogee Creek War veteran of World War II, decorated with the Medal of Honor, Purple Heart, and somebody that we can all, as Muskogee Creek citizens and all Indians everywhere in general, can look up to as somebody that lived life the right way and had several adventures out there that possibly that nobody could match in those kind of tales that he had from those war stories and things like that. But Ernest Childers, his family was there on hand. A lot of dignitaries, Congressman John Sullivan, who introduced the bill, was there as well to mark that wonderful day. So everybody there in attendance, very honored to be there and honor somebody so special as Ernest Childers and his memory. Also, we're going to take a look at Mr. Gerald Wofford, a familiar face in a new place. Going to be talking with Gerald and here in the next few weeks and in the coming weeks as we go on with Native News Today. Gerald will be out and about roaming with the camera and picking up things out in Indian country going on and all kinds of stuff like that. So Gerald's got some things to talk to us about today, and we're going to visit with Gerald just a little bit later on about what he's seen this week and some of the great things that he was able to go out and capture and all of that. So we're very much so looking forward to talking to Gerald today, and we'll have him on here in just a minute. But right now we're going to get things started with our very first commercial break, and when we get back from that, we're going to have plenty of Native American stories coming up for you, lots of entertaining things, so you don't want to go anywhere. You want to sit back, relax, maybe get you something to drink, maybe get you a little refreshment, and we'll be back in just 1 minute with more Native News Today.
This is Congressman John Sullivan, and I watch Native News Today.
And welcome back to Native News Today. Our first story here out of the box for this week will be one that probably will be one of the most important that we profile here on the show. Talking about Mr. Ernest Childers and a rededication ceremony in his honor for the VA outpatient clinic in Tulsa. Now, there were state officials there as well as members of Ernest's family and all kinds of veterans and friends on hand for this special honor bestowed upon his name and for his family. So we were glad to be there at the Radisson Hotel in Tulsa as we remembered Muskogee Creek War veteran, recipient of the Congressional Medal of Honor, Ernest Childers. We're here in Tulsa, Oklahoma at the Radisson Hotel here and getting ready for a big day for Mr. Ernest Childers. We will be rededicating the VA outpatient clinic in his honor, and Mr. Childers is a former colonel, lieutenant colonel in the United States Army. He was in World War II, decorated war veteran there, and a recipient of the Medal of Honor. So today, just another great day for the name of Ernest Childers, and for those in attendance that are close to him, loved ones, a very special day for them as well, as we are here to see the rededication ceremony for Ernest Childers in the VA outpatient clinic.
I was proud to see the legislation I introduced to rename our outpatient VA clinic here in Tulsa after one of our nation's finest military heroes, Ernest Childers, to be signed into law by President Bush last December. As you all know, Lieutenant Colonel Childers served our nation in World War II. He served in 4 different countries across the globe and 4 different states before his retirement from the military in 1965. Ernest Childers holds the distinction of being the first Native American to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. He earned this distinction for his heroic action in 1943 in the Battle of Oliveto, Italy. His courageous actions in this battle helped American troops win the battle and saved lives of American soldiers. In fact, until his death in March 2005, Lieutenant Colonel Childers was Oklahoma's lone Congressional Medal of Honor recipient still living in this state. Lieutenant Colonel Childers' service and bravery in our armed forces will be forever remembered by his fellow soldiers and by all Americans.
We're here to pay tribute to a true hero. As a member of the 45th Infantry Division of the Oklahoma Army National Guard, Ernest Childers was the first Native American to receive the Congressional Medal of Honor. Our city appreciates his extraordinary courage and his service to his country in preserving America's freedom. And I'd like to present to the family this proclamation. Whereas we pay tribute to Ernest Childers as we celebrate the renaming of the VA Outpatient Clinic in Tulsa, Oklahoma in his honor. Whereas Ernest Childers earned the military's highest honor, the Medal of Honor, for risking his life above and beyond the call of duty in action on September 22nd, 1943. And whereas the citation on Ernest Childers' medal reads, "The exceptional leadership, initiative, calmness under fire, and conspicuous gallantry displayed by Second Lieutenant Childers were an inspiration to his men." And whereas Ernest Childers passed away March 17, 2005, Oklahoma, as well as the rest of the nation, lost a great man who contributed much. Now, therefore, I, Kathy Taylor, Mayor of the City of Tulsa, do hereby proclaim May 27, 2008 as Ernest Childers Day in the City of Tulsa. Thank you.
I'm proud to be here to be part of this program. And I want you to know right from the start I'm going to be wearing two hats. Firstly, as a National Council, we were very pleased when Congress passed the act to name the outpatient clinic Ernest Childers Clinic. With that, the National Council introduced legislation to purchase a bronze statue of his likeness to be placed at the VA clinic. And I was proud to be that sponsor, but it also took the cooperation of my colleagues to make that possible. So it was our pleasure as the Muskogee Nation to be able to fund this project as a gift to the clinic so that he can be remembered. I also want to say, serving the National Council, I served with a lot of individuals, but I want to say today that I served with two of the Childers family during my tenure. And I found them to be very, very people with integrity. So I appreciate that. And on a couple of occasions, I had the pleasure to meet Colonel Childers, and in his presence, you can just feel that he commanded respect. He commanded respect. Colonel Childers has a legacy that he established through his military heroics. And we can take a lesson from that. We can establish on our legacy, whatever it might be. You're a good parent, you're a grandparent, you're a good citizen, but to contribute to this nation. I also want to say too, among the Muskogee people, we have a lot of loyalties. We have a loyalty to our clan that comes from our mother's side. We have a loyalty to our tribal towns which comes from our mother's side. We have a loyalty to the state of Oklahoma because we are citizens. We're also citizens of the Muskogee Nation. We're also are citizens of the United States of America. And for that, being a veteran, we all contribute to protecting this country.
Grace under pressure, I believe, was evident when he spoke out after the 9/11 attacks with the moral courage and wisdom that comes with his unique authority as both a Medal of Honor recipient and a member of an oppressed group. And I quote, "We all need to realize that we must join together, not become divisive. Being an American means that you are of many diverse heritages. We are a nation of ethnicities: Anglo-American, Native American, Afro-American, Hispanic American, Asian American," Childers said. "If you are angry, then channel that anger by volunteering or contributing, not by overreacting." We are indebted to Ernest Childers. He was a member of that group that so valiantly served during World War II, the men and women whom today we fondly call the greatest generation.
It is such a special day for Dad, and we miss him, of course, every single day, and wish he could be here to witness the honor himself, because this is quite a tremendous honor. The whole family feels it, but at the same time, we feel that Dad deserves it. Daddy was always very humble. He never ever thought he was a hero. He always thought other people were, even though he was instrumental in saving so many people during the war. So after the war, anytime he was honored, it was always received with a great deal of humility. And so even though we are very, very proud, we still also extend that humility that Dad showed us so well. He'd be absolutely thrilled, because that was one of the things that he always was supportive of, was not just the veterans, but to make sure that the veterans did receive adequate health care. And I'm incredibly happy to learn that the VA hospitals have been rated among the first in the nation. That's wonderful.
It's very rewarding to see legislation go through to name VA outpatient clinic, their Ernest Childers outpatient clinic. What a great hero we have right here in Oklahoma, first Native American to get the Congressional Medal of Honor. A real hero to everyone, and he's done a lot for this country, and it's very fitting that we honor him in this way today. It's great to see his wife here and his two daughters. His son couldn't make it, but unfortunately couldn't make it here today. Ernest, his son. But he did so much for our country, and we need to honor our veterans, especially World War II veterans. They're dying off, unfortunately, and we need to have not only a history kept of them, but also oral history. The talking about it is very important. We are a big state of have a lot of Native American tribal members here. It's very important that they look to someone like this as a leader. I think many of them already do. There's a middle school named after Ernest Childers right now, and many of those kids are very proud to call that.
All right, we hope everyone enjoyed that look at the rededication ceremony for Ernest Childers. Now, what you didn't know, and maybe if you were a little bit keen and was paying a lot of attention during that, was the MC for that event was our very own Mr. Gerald Wofford. Gerald Wofford, come on in here. We got to tell these folks at Native News Today, our great audience out there, about some new things we got going on. And brother, it's good to have you back in the house today. And you had a few things that you went around and did this week. And I don't like to say Gulliver's Travels. I like to say Gerald's Travels. Tell us a little bit about where you've been, man.
Well, I tell you what, I've been traveling the highways and byways, if you will. One special stop we made was down in Sallisaw, Oklahoma. This is the historic home of the Cherokee alphabet creator Sequoyah. Got a chance to visit down there, and some Cherokee kids who were involved with a language immersion class were down there at the same time, so it was all fun.
Down in Black Diamond Country.
We are deep in the heart of Cherokee country here this morning, and I'm talking with a gentleman here who has the honor and privilege, and we appreciate all that he does here in help preserving a home of a very historical Cherokee figure. And I'm going to allow him to introduce himself right now and his title.
Yes, my name is Jerry Dobbs. I'm the Historic Properties Manager for Sequoyah's Cabin.
Well, Mr. Dobbs, tell us a little bit about this cabin and how it is preserved.
Well, in 1936, this became a WPA project. That was a Work Progress Administration during Roosevelt's administration. But they decided to preserve his last home, which he built in 1829. So they built this 10-acre rock wall park here and enclosed his home inside this large rock building. So his home's never been moved. It's on the exact spot he built it in 1829, and it's been inside that building since the mid-1930s.
What does Sequoyah mean to the history of the Cherokee Nation?
Well, he's probably one of the most well-known figures in Native American history, I would think, or any history really, because he was the only person in history to ever be able to come up with a way of writing for a people by himself. And he didn't know how to read or write, and some say he didn't even speak English.
Now, of course, he makes the removal with the rest of the tribe here to, which was then Indian Territory, but his journey didn't stop there. He continued on. Where did he go after he left Indian Territory?
Well, he was trying to unite the Cherokee Nation, so he went down to Old Mexico where a group of Cherokees had moved, and he tried to talk them into coming back to Oklahoma. And he did find them, but they just didn't want to come back. And he was just in bad health and died there. So his son, who was with him, buried him in a cave, supposedly, in that area, and came back. But he's buried somewhere around San Fernando, Old Mexico, but they don't know exactly where he's buried.
So much controversy and mystery can sometimes surround historical figures, and Sequoyah certainly is no exception. There were stories and reports that perhaps there was even a treasure or something that was buried with him there in Mexico. Have you heard any type of stories like that?
I've heard several different stories, but as far as Sequoyah would be concerned with wealth, I don't think that would be an issue, probably, because he, as you can see from the way he lived, he just really shunned any wealth whatsoever, although he had probably ample opportunity to be wealthy. He just was more of a mediator and a teacher, and that was his main concern.
Well, you certainly have a lot of visitors here, and you had mentioned that a Cherokee immersion class that you'll be addressing here shortly. Tell us about the hours when people can come out and visit the Sequoyah home.
We're open year-round. We're open 9 to 5 Tuesday through Friday, and 2 to 5 Saturday and Sunday, and we're closed on major holidays.
All right. Mr. Jerry Dobbs, we appreciate you all your time. Wado.
Wado.
I want to say thank you, Gerald, for that first one, but we're not stopping there. That was just the first stop on the little leg here that we got going on, the tour, if you will. Gerald also stopped off here in the backyard of the Muscogee Creek Nation. Now, we let him go down to Sallisaw and doing a little Cherokee stuff, but we bring him back here towards the capital, the homeland, the Creek Nation here in Altmaugee. Gerald, tell him a little bit about the first ever NABI 2008 Baseball Invitational.
Well, this was really a special day for local area athletes, baseball athletes specifically. A lot of Native American athletes that play on the different baseball teams around the high schools around this area got a chance to be looked at by professional baseball scouts, major leagues. Now, this was all part of the For Love of the Game, a local sports organization that helps enhance local Native American athletes and maybe achieve some of their sports dreams through baseball, basketball, football, and other sports.
Absolutely. They've traveled the basketball avenue before. For Love of the Game took the girls and boys team out last year and won the championship and runner-up respectively in those divisions. And now I guess Lucas Taylor and the boys over at For Love of the Game are thinking, hey, if we can go out there and dominate in basketball, let's swing the sticks, let's bring the stitched up ball, let's go play some baseball. So it ought to be a good time.
A lot of great baseball talent here in the Okmulgee area here this morning, and I'm here with For Love of the Game coordinator Lucas Taylor. Lucas, a lot of great Native American talent here on baseball. What are they all here for?
They're here for the first annual Native American Baseball Invitational that's going to be held in Phoenix, Arizona. We have about 96 kids from all over the state of Oklahoma trying out for 18 spots to go out to this inaugural baseball tournament.
And what's been the response today?
It's been great. I tell you what, we wasn't expecting this many kids. To give you an example, we printed off 100 forms thinking we had a lot, and we almost ran out. 96 kids, but a lot of talent from all over the state of Oklahoma. A lot of these kids made the Sunbelt Classic team. A lot of these kids won the state tournament. A lot of these kids made All-State. So it's just a wealth of talent here. And these guys behind us, you can see, are going through the infielders right now, and we're going to have a chore narrowing down 96 to 18.
What type of drills are they going through this morning?
We worked this morning. The first thing we did was timed them in a 60-yard dash. Had some great times there. The outfield was throw some outfield to home plate, gauging their arms. Now they're working on the infielders, filling the ball in the hole on the shortstop side, throwing it to first, checking their field in as well as their arm speed.
Lucas, is it accurate to say that for a lot of these kids, this is the first time they have a chance to have their skills critiqued and a chance to attend a camp, something like this?
I would like to say yes, because a lot of these kids, for instance, tried out for the Sunbelt, and you had to pay a fee to try out. Some of them are a couple $100, I would guess, but our camp is free. So a lot of these kids get some evaluation. Some of these kids are young, so we're telling them not to be discouraged. It's a learning experience for maybe next year or other things coming up in their life.
Well, certainly a great turnout here, and you mentioned that they're all getting ready for the big tournament again. What's the name of it?
It's the first annual Native American Baseball Invitational in conjunction with the Arizona Diamondbacks in Phoenix, Arizona. And this team here will be representing Oklahoma, of course. Many tribes will be playing against other tribes throughout the United States.
All right. Well, best of luck to all the baseball talent out there. Lucas Taylor, coordinator for Love of the Game here at the baseball tryouts for all the Native American students here in the area.
All right, another great job there, Gerald, and I bet it was fun being there and in this presence of so much great baseball talent. Me and you are baseball guys, so you're Yankees, my St. Louis Cardinals. Sometimes we have a little bit of a rivalry going on. You have the 26 World Championships, and it's, you know, the most for any team, and I congratulate you on that. But my Cardinals, we got the second most though.
I have to admit,
and the most recent.
I've never seen such great fan support as I have with Cardinal fans. Maybe it's just the region or whatever, but still, hey, it's great to have that support.
And if he gets all nostalgic on us right now, don't be alarmed, because it's the last year of Yankee Stadium. So the guy's going to have to say farewell to it. It's the house that Ruth built, but this year it's the house that gets demolished. What can you say about it?
Well, on a positive note, Jason, we are going to produce a documentary on the famous Creek Yankee pitcher Allie Reynolds later this year.
Absolutely. And Gerald, one stadium, or I guess I should say field, that won't be going anywhere anytime soon is one in Mason, Oklahoma, for the Mason Indian community. You were out there and checked that out. Field dedication, I know everybody out there was very excited about that. Tell us a little bit about it.
Jason, it was a very special night. The Mason Indian community came together, dedicated just basically a few acres, a plot of land, got to work on it, got support from the council, and created a softball field in the community. Now, for you out there to know what that can really mean, you know, a community really can come together like that and support their local softball team. And it all was created really back in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
They had a very successful softball team called the OJs. Mm-hmm. And they
not just a funk band back
yes,
then.
yeah,
Okay.
not just the 70s. That was a cool band.
I know you
too.
like that, yeah.
Yeah. But the OJs were a special team there that brought the community together. They wanted to keep that tradition, that sports tradition alive, and they said, hey, why don't we create a softball field and we'll keep this great softball tradition going.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about it, Gerald, is softball, it's so, you know, endearing to us Indian people. And non-Indians, when they think of Indians, a lot of the times, you know, you get with those, they think of Indians, they think feathers, headdresses, and teepees. Well, when we think of ourselves, we think softkey, fry bread, and softball, you know what I mean? Power,
the three
like
S's
that.
right there, man.
So, yeah, ceremonial grounds, things like that. So softball is just as much a part of our culture. I'm serious now, it really is. And if you go anywhere, anybody will tell you that, as all of those other things. So a great story, Gerald, and I'm sure it was a great time being out in Mason.
We appreciate everybody coming out this evening. I'd like to first start off, and I think we ought to give the community a hand for all the hard work they have done. They did this on their own time, own effort, and they worked hard at doing what they completed here. So I'd like to give the Okfuskee Indian community a hand.
I'm glad to see them here, and got the new OJs that are coming up, and they still carry on the OJ name, and that's why we was wanting to dedicate this ball field to some part of that. Anyway, I'm glad to see everybody here. But another thing, I like to thank the people that built this up, you know, from how would you say it, from nothing, I guess you would say. It was just a pasture out here, just old weedy pasture, and I like to thank the community for helping with their helping hand, and the fence, the chain link fence, they were donated, and I like to thank the people that donated it. There was Mike Sands donated a few fence, and Frank Walters donated some, and Glenn Jones donated some, and well, they donated, and we apparently just had few donations, you know, come about, but I'd like to thank the council. Bill's here, Travis here, Lena's not here, but she knows we was having this, and I'm glad she would, you know, be appreciated to be here. But haya nak mo haya nak tet maro jige digi donga nak haya tabi konayat Travis in weket manak haran mga kita ozagi buwede, and I'll give it up to Travis, but I'd like to thank everybody for being here. And I'd like to thank the workers, the paint crew, and the fence crew, and ground crew. Oscar Walters has been out here most of the time, you know, and doing all this. And I'd like to thank everybody. Moro, and Travis Hansen, Moro.
Hey, this is Toby Keith, and I watch Native News Today.
All right, Gerald, now we'll actually wrap up your travels for this week, and I want to say thank you for going out there and doing such a great job for us. And one of the things about it is this guy's a seasoned journalist, but now he is he adds a different hat. He is a field journalist now. So if you see him out there and about, that's why he's got the terrain out there. You can't see below, but he's got the hiking boots on too. So you really got to get out some rough terrain and make sure that we get the stories back here at home base. But I know you had a great time, because the ones I was thinking about it when we were watching those, the ones that you went out and got were. I mean, that's down-home stuff, you know what I mean? You went to the Mason Indian community for a softball field dedication, went for the 411 the game baseball tryouts, and then Sequoia's cabin. So, man, you got the whole gamut there, and I know it had to have been awesome.
It's great going all over and seeing all these events happening out in Indian country. And sometimes we say, you know, what's going on out there? What's happening out there? A lot happening out there, as you've seen on this past show. Speaking of another event, we want to give a shout-out to the Tulsa Indian community. They had their 5K fundraiser fun run over the past weekend to raise some funds for their Tulsa Powwow that's coming up in July. So congratulations to Robert Anque and all those out there.
Those guys do a good job. Yeah,
they do.
And the Tulsa Powwow Club, like I said, they do a wonderful job with the powwow, and not to be confused with the Tulsa Indian Club. Two totally different things. Am I correct?
Yes, that is right here.
It's almost like a rivalry, you know, the Jets and the Sharks. You know what I mean? It's almost.
They may not choreograph a fight scene or anything, but yeah, that is right.
And speaking of, we don't always just go out and tell the stories that just jump up in your face. Maybe there's some we got to dig for. Maybe there's some out there that somebody does something, you know, phenomenal. And in this case, Gerald, phenomenal doesn't even begin to tell the word, because I used to hate going to school. Tell us about Mr. Bushyhead.
Well, you know, our goal all along Native News Today is to congratulate great accomplishments that Native Americans are doing out there. Congratulations to Jared Bushyhead from kindergarten, just graduated from East Central High School without missing a single day throughout his academic career.
I was the exact opposite. I missed a bunch of days. I think I should have gotten recognition for how many days I actually missed. I was really good.
The award goes to Jason.
I actually always used to do good at writing doctor's notes and stuff like that. So, no, I'm just kidding. We'll see you guys next week, and we'll see Gerald again. He'll have some great stories for us right here on Native News Today.